Goodness gracious. Oh, that's a little much. Good thing I got these tires and those shocks, dude. That still sucked. Don't wipe out. Oh my gosh. E-bike fishing just got a little bit cooler. This is the TST 20-inch Cargo, and this is going to be a little bit of an upgrade and a little bit different and maybe even a downgrade from my last build, depending on what you are looking for. But this is better for longer trips where you need to haul a lot more gear. Now, I really like this bike, but we're gonna start off on one of the things that is a major drawback that you might want to consider, and that is this thing is 100 pounds. And the reason I'm bringing that up is because, well, on the way over here, I had 2 of these rod holders, and we're gonna go over the whole build. I'm gonna link everything below, but I had 2 of these rod holders, one here and one there. But the bike is so heavy that as I was going down the stairs, it kind of started taking off on me, and well, it kind of sideswiped one of the railings of the staircase, snapped it clean off. So it's 100 pounds. If you have to deal with stairs, this might not be for you. But if you do not have to deal with stairs and you want to be able to haul a lot more gear, this might be the build for you. All right, so the first thing is if you're gonna have an e-bike for fishing, you're gonna want the fat tires. Now, pretty much all of the ones that you're gonna see on this channel, all of the e-bike builds, it's gonna have fat tires. That's for sand, dirt, muddier conditions, softer bottom conditions, whatever. If you're gonna do an e-bike fishing build, you might be going around ponds, lakes, gravel, or beaches. Yeah, you're gonna want those fat tires. So what makes this bike different is this cargo area, and it's pretty customizable. So I have a Yeti dry storage that I actually use in my 16-foot skiff, and inside has all of my pliers and fishing gear and plastics and everything I need, including a repair kit that this bike comes with. But you also have plenty of room. I was actually going to attach another lunchbox back here, but I ended up going to Wendy's and now I'm absolutely stuffed. But anyway, you can put a lot more gear back here. You can do a bigger cooler if you want to keep some fish. And what I like about this one is this bar area. So these right here are removable. So if you need more space, you can remove them for absolutely an insane amount of cargo space back here. And you've got the frame on the outside that will remain. So that way nothing's gonna dump. Also, if you needed more mounting areas for bungee straps or for ratchet straps, or even technically you can put a child back here. That's actually what this is for, is like a back seat. I don't think I would trust that. This thing goes 30 miles an hour, almost, we'll talk about it. But you have more mounting points there. So that's what this one is pretty awesome, because it's designed for more weight. You have a ton of cargo room and basically unlimited places to mount rod holders and attach different objects. So you can have cooler, you can have dry storage, you can even have bait buckets back here. You can have a pretty big circular bait bucket if you removed these 2 inner bars and just left the outer frame. So that is pretty insane that you can haul so much stuff around to the ponds, to the lakes, to whatever. That is pretty hard to beat. Yeah, this thing is definitely awesome. But like I said, one of the drawbacks is that although you can carry all this extra stuff, it comes at a cost. It is a 100-pound bike. This thing is really heavy. The last build was a 70-pound bike, and that was fairly heavy. And I've got another e-bike build that's gonna be more portable, foldable, and that thing is pretty light. So we're gonna cover all of the ranges. But this is, if you're trying to go all day and you need plenty of gear. Now, what's cool about this bike is it does have pedal assist, but it has a throttle right here. So personally, not gonna lie, I never pedal. Even though it's an e-bike, I never pedal. I treat them like four-wheelers, I guess that would be. And the other one has like a dirt bike throttle. So I only ever use the throttle, and it's supposed to get up to 60 miles, which is really good. I believe it has a 48-volt battery, and I believe it's either 15 or 20 amp hours, which is pretty good. No rear shocks, but we do have front shocks, so it is a pretty comfortable ride. You also have a which I saw the protective cover, I just saw a headlight up here, which is super awesome. Disc brakes helped me from not paying attention and crashing in my truck at about 10 miles an hour this morning, so that was awesome. And the seat is actually really comfortable. You do have a grab handle in case you have a child back here. They put it on their website. I don't know if I would recommend putting a child back there, but you do have it, or an additional tie down point. The handlebars are pretty comfortable. You can move them significantly forward or backward to adjust size. And overall, I really like this bike. The weight is Plus, if you want to haul a bunch of stuff, or for me personally, who lives up on stairs in an apartment, it's a little bit of a hassle, so you want to keep that in mind. But if you are interested in the TST bike, or any TST bikes, they make lighter versions as well, and stuff that doesn't have as much cargo space on it. You can use code Greyson Roberts, and you will get $100 off. And these bikes are actually pretty affordable. I think this one, don't quote me on this, is a little over $1,000, which is significantly cheaper than our last build, significantly cheaper. Now, let's talk about the top speed using the throttle only. That is actually supposed to be 28 miles an hour. You have to download an app, which can be tricky to use, and you have to unlock it. One thing that I didn't like is that when you got the bike, it was locked at 20 miles an hour. So I contacted them, I was like, hey, I thought I was supposed to run 28. They're like, it is, you have to unlock it through the app, which I did, and then I got 28. So keep that in mind. They don't really bring that up, but you can get it to go 28. But after all my testing on a wind protected, calm, flat road, I only hit 25 miles an hour. Our last build hit 29.5. So this is going to be about 4.5 mile an hour slower from our last build, but at the same time, I'm able to put a lot more gear, and there's also a lot more weight on it. I can shed off some of this extra stuff. I can take these off, these plastic covers, this whole cargo area, and just have either a pad, or it also comes with a wood bench back there if you don't want something soft, which wood might be better. I'm not sure. I might tear up that soft stuff. I don't know. I'm gonna leave it like this for now, but that also saves a ton of weight. But your sprocket right here has a nice guard, and the kickstand is super robust. One thing that happened to me with the last build was I was kind of on a bank. I don't know if I put it in the video, but it fell over, and the cooler build that I had in the last video that was totally different from this fell over, exploded, and like half the things that I brought with me in dry storage, including this camera, literally went into the pond that I was fishing. This fixes that with a super, super robust kickstand, and it actually lifts. That's why this keeps turning, because it actually, all that weight back there, it has two kickstands basically on one side for one unit. So essentially, this thing is not going to tip at all. Like, this thing is rock solid with all your gear, which is, I was concerned about it. I didn't realize whenever I got this in the mail that it was gonna have that kickstand system. That was one of my #1 complaints. It's like, okay, well, or what worries. It's like, if I'm gonna have all this stuff on my new e-bike build, is it gonna tip? But no, it's actually rock solid. So I absolutely love this thing. So this is a Yeti dry storage cooler, and I just haven't, I've been putting stuff back here, and I just haven't really found a need for it. This has plenty of space. In fact, I'll show it to you. It fits perfectly in here. That's why I recommend this particular setup. You can open it right up, which is insane. So I've got, I actually, like I said, use this dry box for my boat. So I've got my trolling motor lanyard and all that fun stuff back there. We have a ton of room for gear. And I also have all my boat repair stuff and outboard motor tools. So this particular box, the Yeti dry storage, is really, really awesome. It's wedged in there good, but I just have this bungee strap just in case we hit a bad bump. And then right here is actually a Placino, I believe is what it's called, yeah, Placino clamp-on rod holder. They're made to clamp on round things, and this bike has a bunch of round things to clamp on. So you're definitely gonna wanna get these exact ones instead of the ones that are flat. And like I said, I'm supposed to have two, but I destroyed the other one as this charged down my stairs earlier. But this thing works really well. You can tilt it left or right, and you can go up and back. Another major issue of my last build was I had a cooler, and then I attached those rod holders straight up to the cooler. So my 7-foot rods were, you know, 2 foot off the ground. So essentially what that did is every time I'd go into a retreat, my rod tips would hit it and I would freak out and it would almost break. But with this system, you can clamp it on there and you can drop it low, you can spin it around. So this is significantly lower than it was on the last build, and I can even have it kind of go past me. So if I know I'm going over an area with a lot of low hanging palm trees, well, I can drop this rod tip way lower. And to keep it from flying out, we have the same system as last time, which is I have a bungee strap in that little groove right there, wrapped around the reel on this side right here. So as you can see, that sucker is not going anywhere. So there you have it, the TST 20-inch e-bike build video. Like I said, I don't see people hardly doing any sort of e-bike build fishing stuff. You know, I'm a boating guy, but I like to fish from land too, and I don't like to walk. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. Like I said, you can use code Greyson Roberts for $100 off if you want to get anything on TST. As always, all the glory goes to our Father in heaven. tight lines, and God bless.